Hello. Hi y'all. Hi y'all. So I'm gonna keep the glasses on this time so I can actually read the words on the page well. And this time I wanted to do a story because this book, our beautiful folktale Bible, has all these beautiful sections of the kinds of stories we're reading. And so I decided that, I wanted to pick. Laughter has been really important in my life lately. So this is from Lessons in Laughter, Tales About John and Old Master. And today's story we read is called Old Master and Okra. And per People Could Fly, we're going to read the excerpt in the back first. So in fairy tales, the survivors generally live happily ever after. But folk tales can pile on disasters in ways that are so excessive that they become tragicomic. Tragicomic. That's not quite right, but tragic. See, then I have to know how to pronounce things. Tragicomic. It's not an N in there. Tragicomic. We'll go with that rather than catastrophic. Okra decides to have a good time after Old Master leaves. And he touches off a chain of events that leads to the loss of everything the slaveholder owns, including the slaves, who flee north. Fractured by irony, the tale turns the good time into a bad time for Old Master. The exchanges between Okra and Old Master cleverly disguise a sense of triumph in the liberation of slaves who leave no tracks, only the loss and destruction of property. So, these section of tales, I love the high John kind of tales where we get to get over on the slave master. And I think with all the stuff going on in the world, we want to hope that we will get over the slave master each and every time. So here we go. Old Master and Okra. Old Master had to go down to New Orleans on business, and he left his number one slave named Okra in charge of things. Okra declared to himself he going to have a good time while Old Master was away. And the thing he did the very first morning was to go out and tell the other slaves, "Now you get on with your affairs. Old Master gone to New Orleans, and we got to keep things going." Then Okra went in the kitchen to cook himself up some food, and in the process of doing so, he got ruffled and spilled the bacon grease on top of the stove. It burst up into a big fire, and the next thing you know, sir, why are you on the light? Pardon. Thanks to Nubs, we have lost our light source.
Why would you do that?
Don't lay on top of the thing. Stop. There we go. Thank you to Nubs for our interruption. All right, where was I? Okay, we'll start from this. Then Okra went in the kitchen to cook himself up some food, and in the process of doing so, he got ruffled and spilled the bacon grease on top of the stove. It burst up into a big fire, and the next thing you know, that house was going up in flame and smoke. Okra, he went out the window and stood off a ways, looking real sorry. By the time the other hands got there, wasn't nothing else to do but look sorry. They were so busy with looking that they never noticed that the sparks lit in the wood lot and set it afire too. Well, Okra ordered everybody out to the woodlot to save it. But by then, the grass was sizzling and popping. A regular old prairie fire roaring across the fields, burning up the cotton and everything else. They run over there with wet bags to beat it out. But next thing they know, the pasture was afire, and all Old Master's cattle was a-going. throttle out, and racing for the Texas Badlands. Okra went to the barn for the horses, but as soon as he opened the door, they bolted and was gone. If and I can get that ox team hitched, Okra said, I'll go on down to Colonel Thatcher's place and get some help. Well, the minute he started to put the yoke on them oxen, the left-hand ox lit out and was gone. The right-hand ox went after him, and the both of them just left Okra holding the ox yoke up in the air. When old Master's hunting dog see them oxen go off that way, he figured something was wrong, and he sold out, barking and snapping at their heels. About that time, Okra looked around and found all the slaves had took off too, heading north and leaving no tracks. He was alone, and he had to digest all that misery by himself. Week or two went by, and Okra went down to meet the boat old Master coming back on. Old Master got off feeling pretty good. Told Okra to carry his stuff and say, well, Okra, how'd things go while I was away? Fine, just fine, Okra said. I noticed they're fixing the bridge over Black Creek. Ain't that good? Yeah, old Master said, that's fine, Okra, just fine. Soon as we get home, I'm going to change my clothes and do some quail shooting. Captain, Okra said, hanging his head, I got a little bad news for you. What's that? Old Master say. You ain't neither going quail hunting, Okra say. Your hunting dog run away. Old Master took it pretty good. He say, well, don't worry about it none. He'll come back. How did he happen to run away? Chasing after the right-hand ox, Okra say. That ox just lit out one morning. Where to? Old Master say. I don't know where to. Come on, Instagram. I don't know where to, Okra say. He was trying to catch up with the left-hand ox. Old Master began to frown now, and he said to Okra, you mean the whole ox team is gone? How come? I was yoking him up to go after Colonel Thatcher after the horses bolted, Okra say. How come the horses bolted? Old boss say. Smoke from the pasture grass, that's what scared all your livestock and made them break down the fence and run for the swamp. You mean all my livestock is gone? Okra, I'm going to skin you. How'd that pasture get on fire? Okra, he just stood there looking foolish, scratching his head. Reckon the fire just came across from the cotton field, Captain, he said. You mean my cotton's burned? Old Master hollered. How'd that happen? Couldn't put it out, Captain. Soon as we see it come over there from the woodlot, we went down with wet bags, but we couldn't handle it. Man, that was sure a pretty cotton field before the fire got there. Right now, old Master was looking pretty sick. He talked kind of weak. Okra, you trying to tell me the woodlot's gone too? I hate to tell you, Captain, but you guessed it, Okra say, kind of sad. Imagine, all them trees gone, just 'cause of one lonesome spark. Old Master couldn't hardly talk at all now. He just whispered, Okra, he said, Okra, where'd that spark come from? Wind blew it right from the house, Okra say. It was when the big timbers gave and came down. Man, sparks flew in the air a mile or more. You mean the house burned up? Old Master said. Oh yeah, didn't I tell you? Okra replied. Didn't burn up though as much as it burned down. By now, old Master was a miserable sight, pale as a ghost and shaking all over. Okra, Okra, old Master say, let's go get the field hands together and do something. Can't do that, Okra say. I forgot to tell you, they's all sold out for Michigan. Old Master just sat there, shaking his head back and forth. Okra, you say, why didn't you come right out with it? Why you tell me everything was fine? Captain, I'm sorry if I didn't tell it right, Okra say. Just wanted to break it to you easy. That's funny. So the end. Love that for us. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. Continue to free Palestine and all the indigenous people and melanated and African people of the world. If you'd like to hire me, Symba Luna, for your voice acting and narration needs, please email the Symba Luna Show. And I think I'm going to be back for 2 more stories for the rest of this month as we wind down this wonderful October. Well, somewhat wonderful. See y'all.